Okay, so we're saying that everyone is hung up with the NHR, but there are some circumstances. I'm thinking people on like the D2 visas, remote workers, who want to apply what is known as the simplified regime. How do they make that election and how does it work?
Well, first of all, to have a business income at the individual level, you need to open an activity. So the first important step would be to identify clearly the nature of the activity, because the nature of the activity will have consequences in terms of the taxation applicable in the simplified regime, because there are different percentages of taxation depending on the nature of the activity. So first important thing is the activity that you select or that you are going to perform,
and then this is separate from the high value added list of activities, right? Separate.
Yes. Okay. It's separate. It could be at the same time an activity of high value added, but for the simplified regime, it is not relevant if we decide to apply for the general tax rules.
Okay.
And then at the second stage, when you file the annual personal income tax return, you will report the income that is allocated to that activity, and you may select or not if this should be considered as a high value added activity for the purpose of the NHR.
Right.
So it is not mandatory, even if you have the NHR status, that you consider that business income, you opt for the taxation under the NHR, and you can simply choose to keep with the simplified tax regime.
Okay, so you have two options. You can stick with the NHR. If it's high value added, it'll be taxed at 20% flat. But if you opt out of NHR and go with the regular tax regime and you can elect simplified, how is there like a table that says, depending on the activity, how much can be excluded from the tax calculation? Is that how it works? There's a table.
Yes.
So, so I'll get that table from you and I can put it up on the website. Okay, good.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
It's in the personal income tax code. I can send you.
Sure. And so depending on the activity, you can exclude like 80% or 50% or whatever of it from the tax calculation. Okay.
Yes. For example, in case of service providers, or thinking about a lawyer or someone, the general rule is exclude 25% income from taxation.
Wow. Okay, that's great. And that election,
it's only taxed on 75% of the turnover.
Okay, that's great. And that election is made when you're doing your tax return in the following year, or you make it. Okay, you make it at that. Okay, in the future. Okay. Okay.
And you can apply both. So imagine you can have the income determined under the simplified regime and the tax rate under the NHR.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Okay.
The NHR is relevant for determining the tax rate. If we are talking about a high value added activity. The simplified regime is the way we compute the taxable income.
Okay, I understand. And there's also the option. Now, what about the social charges? So the Social Security payment. I understand that there's the option of excluding it for the first year that you're in Portugal. And then afterwards it'll be the full, and assuming you're self-employed, it'll be the full 23 plus 11 or 10% So 30% social charges.
In case of self-employed,
Yeah.
self-employed individuals,
Yeah.
it's one tax rate of 21.4%.
21.4. Okay. Right. So you don't have to add any additional, like if you were employed, you would pay 21, 22, whatever, and then your employer would pay some as well, maybe 11% or so. But if you're self-employed, you only pay your part, the 21.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you provide services only to one entity in Portugal, because in such case, such entity that contracts you may also have obligation to contribute to Social Security.
Okay, right. Understood. Great.
So
Got it.
the idea is, if you provide services only to one entity, is more or less like you are an employee.
An employee anyway. Yeah. So it's like a disguised employee.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in such case, there is always a contribution for the contractor as well.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Darren, we keep in touch. I'll let you know
Yes.
if I have any development in this respect, and we keep in contact. Thank you.
Fantastic. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Please subscribe, like, share, and comment below. Our books and upcoming events are available at htj.tax. Email us at help@htj.tax to engage us, to advise on international tax or business matters.